Hi everyone, good evening, good afternoon, good morning even, wherever you are. I'm not going to keep you long. I just finished a recording for my course, Parenting After Childhood Trauma. We're in week 2 of the program, some awesome women doing it with me. And I just did a recording with a colleague who is a play therapist. She works with children. And we were talking about attachment, inheritance, and legacy, and some of the things that how we pass on things, how things repeat through generations. Have you seen anything like that in your family where cycles repeat? Spoke to a friend who, in her family, marriages don't work, for example. So her mom was going to marry before her dad, and that didn't work out, and it didn't happen to her mom's sister and to her sister and to her. And you know, even when I do my own family, I remember doing the map, and I said, I'm drawing a line here, I'm covering this line under the blood of Jesus, and my children will not have the experiences that I've experienced. Because you see, it has come down through the generations. And these are not things that we make a decision to do. These are not things that we say, oh, I'm going to make the mistakes that my mother made, or I want to experience the things that my mom experienced. Unless, and this is why I think it's so important for us to just talk. Because if we don't talk and if we don't share, there's so many people who will struggle on repeating cycle after cycle after cycle. And what happened is our children reap the rewards of that. So they inherit a legacy of brokenness, which we can change. And as I listen to her sharing, they work with the parents, because when you have a child that is having behavioral difficulties, often they're presenting with things that is represented at home, in the mom, in the dad, in the relationship that exists there. And often there are blocks. There are blocks in the primary caregivers, and they cannot give that child the emotional, the affection, the appreciation, the comfort, the security. They can't offer those things. See, sometimes we're really good at giving food and clothes and shelter, and sometimes we're really even good at doing the spiritual. But it comes on to connecting emotionally. So many times we fall short there. So many times our children struggle, and we see things repeat through generations. What I like to challenge, what I like to encourage rather, is that you don't ignore the stuff that you see happening and repeating in your family. That you don't ignore, we like to ignore the elephant, the big thing, the big old thing in the family that everybody knows about. Nobody wants to tackle. What I'm saying is, you don't have to go tackle that big thing, but what I'd really like you to do is to work through it for you. How did witnessing the abuse affect you? How did experiencing the abuse in your childhood affect you? How did seeing your parents not connected, how did that affect you? How did the parental substance use affect you? How do you see you showing up because of the abuse that you suffered, whether it's physically, emotionally, psychologically, or sexually? And this is not a judgment. This is not a judgment. This is an encouragement. That if you see that, then I'm encouraging you to find someone who can help you to process and to walk through that. Not only for your children, but because you're worth it. Because Jesus died that you might live. And I think, that says it so much better than any words that I could use. And that you might have life abundantly. And that's one of the reasons why I started this group. So I can have a space where I can nurture as best as I can people who have walked painful journeys, and want to come out at the other side. I'm going to encourage you. Thursday, we're doing the group call with the women in the group. It's week 2, as I said, and we're having a great time. But I'm going to encourage you to do something. These women have said, put their hands up and said, me. That has been my experience. I don't want to hide from it any longer. I don't want to pretend any longer that it never happened. I don't want to be dressed up on the outside, but inside my heart is broken. And I can see sometimes that reflected in my children. I don't want to do that anymore. So put me down. And they have taken the step out to invest in themselves and to nurture themselves. I said to one woman, I said, I will pour into you and so that you can have what you need to give the children. And I don't do it. I don't do it. God does it. Pour into me to pour into her. But what I'm encouraging is, if if any of these resonate with you, if you can see any cycles repeating, if you can identify anything, find the retreat. My retreat is in November. I'm not sure of the location yet, but I'm planning. And it's just going to be amazing. But I can only take 10 women. I can only take 10. Only 10 people that's going to be there, because I want to be able to pour into and nurture and give in a way that, those couple of days, the change can start. I mean, those days, you won't experience the full change there, but it will start to be different. And you can get the resources that you need to make different choices. But find a retreat, read. Next month, I'm going to be doing book reviews on healing. I read a lot. I love reading, as you can see behind me. Read, listen, find podcasts. There are many podcasts. Mine is starting soon. It should start in August, my podcast. But find podcasts that relate to you, what your experiences, what you're going through, because chances are there are people who would have walked that journey that you're walking, people who have been through it and have come out on the other side. And, they can teach you how to navigate it. They can teach you how to get through it. As I always say, don't stay broken. When you reach out, someone will reach back. Have an awesome rest of the afternoon. And I hope that you'll have a great week. Perhaps I'll come back one day this week, but because the course is on, it's just really very busy with my one-to-one clients and running the course. As much as I wanted to be here more, I'm not able to be here more. So if I get the opportunity to come again this week, I will do. But love you. Take care. See you soon. Have a great week. Bye.